What is going on, guys? Rebeltrainer bringing you week 2 of our UNPL. This week we're up against the Copenhagen Glades versus Gentleman Thomas. Gentleman Thomas is a fantastic battler. Make sure you guys go check him out. His team is going to be right here. As you guys can see, his team consists of very scary Pokemon: Darkrai, Garchomp, Sneasler, Empoleon, Comfey, Thundurus, Mesprit, Brambleghast, Rhyperior, Kamala, Go-Go. For us, we brought in this battle the 6 against his Pokemon, or 6 against his team, is Iron Valiant, Roaring Moon, Donphan, Rotomo, Hisuian, Avalugg, and Uxie. This team I thought was going to do fairly well against his scary team. The Pokemon I thought he was bringing was Darkrai, Garchomp, Sneasler. I saw Empoleon being a strong case, Comfey as well. And then I thought Go-Go would be a strong candidate as well. But as you guys can see in this team preview right here, he brings the Darkrai, Garchomp, Sneasler, Comfey, Mesprit, and Rhyperior. So not the ideal setup that we had and what we brought, but we're going to dive right in with Gentleman Thomas and see what all that we can do against him. As you guys can see, he leads off with his Comfey, which was fine by me. I decided to lead off with Uxie, and I just think to myself, I don't know what he wants to necessarily do here, but T-Wave feels pretty good, feels pretty right to either hacks the Comfey or the hacks maybe the Sneasler that I thought potentially was coming in, or anything else that was maybe a little bit faster like the Darkrai or whatever. We get off the Thunder Wave and we hit our mark with Comfey. Comfey goes for the knockoff, which knocks off our Rocky Helmet, which wasn't the most terrible thing for us. Obviously, I brought that to kind of be more of a hacksy thing for some of his team, but that was all right. We get off our Shadow Ball next, which does lower his special D. He U-turns and gets on out of there, which is okay by us. It helps us out a lot. And in comes the Sneasler. Now, this thing is fast. I'm not really sure what all it wants to do, and so I'm debating very heavily on what I want to do. Obviously, he gets a U-turn off. I really was hoping to get a Thunder Wave or something better on it, but it just doesn't add into my favor here. And obviously in comes the Rhyperior, which was a great switch by him. And obviously Rhyperior does not care one bit about the Thunder Wave. U-turn, obviously, which does a good bit once he terrestrializes into the grass type, which makes me feel pretty good at this point. Obviously, my next play is going to Rotom here. I figure Rotom could take some hits, do some fun things here. Obviously, he can go for this Mega Horn, which does a ton to me. Now I have an option. Do I allow Rotom to go down here? Do I set up the Electric Terrain to help me out later on? Or do I Volt Switch and get some pivoting here? So I opt for the pivoting move. Electric Terrain probably would have done me a lot more here than I would have thought at the moment, but that's all right. We get our pivot off. Next, I'm expecting another Mega Horn here. That's why I bring in Komodo Rhino. But he goes for the Terra Blast, and this is going to hurt just a wee bit. The defense is coming in clutch here. Obviously, we take that a lot better than what I thought maybe at this point. So I have an option. I can either go for my hazards or I can go for some damage. For the Stealth Rocks, I figure chippies and stuff would look pretty good here. He opts for the Earthquake. And I take it fairly well. And I think to myself, oh, I can definitely go for a recover here and be okay. It wasn't the case. It was not the case. That Earthquake did a lot more than what I was hoping for. So our Avalugg goes down, not doing the work I was really hoping it would do. Go back out in Uxie. I think to myself, if I can just get some damage off on this, which is what I need to. Out for another U-turn. Go back out in the Donphan. Fortunately, he misses the Mega Horn. I figure Ice Spinner is the best thing I have to hit it right now. He goes for Mega Horn. He lands it. Does not do that much, which I'm pretty pleased with at this point. Lefties are going to help us recover a little bit more. Obviously, though, I'm thinking he can go for another Terra Blast. So I opt for my Uxie. He goes for Terra Blast. Uxie surprisingly lives the hit. And then I opt for Draining Kiss, maybe living something or him missing. But no, he opts for the Terra Blast again, and so takes out Uxie. Go out on my Drux. At this point, I haven't seen anything that he wants to go for that can really pressure or scare me. But I also know I'm faster than this thing, and I figure a U-turn is going to do a lot, which I am right. It does, and so I have an option. And I go back out on my Dolphin. Goes for a Terra Blast. I somewhat eat it. And I have an option as well to either go for the Ice Spinner to KO it or go for the Rapid Spin. Ice Spinner does take out the Rhyperior, but my team is severely hurt at this point, and in comes the Darkrai. My only option really is to Terra at this point and do the most damage that I can. But he has the move. Ice Beam does a ton and just takes us out. So at this point, I go into Iron Valiant. I'm hoping it's either Specs or maybe Scarfed, and I can kind of take something. A Moonblast is what I'm thinking is going to do a lot here. He swaps out. Mesprit comes in, takes it fairly well. I decide to let Momo get sacked here. He obviously gets the U-turn, and in comes the Sneasler. Iron Valiant is just going to have to click buttons here. At this point, I thought the Sneasler was banded, and I was Scarfed. So I should be outspeeding this. But then I find out he's Scarfed. At this point, I'm just eating a bunch of Moonblasts. He's getting some pivoting going around. And in comes the Comfey. The Comfey is paralyzed, so I thought, okay, this might be good. That paralysis was huge. It helped us immensely to just fire off this Moonblast, KO the Comfey, which I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I feel a little bit bad for the paralysis hacks there, but it eats into our favor. Obviously, he goes for his move, Dire Claw, which just obliterates us. I just want to say at this point, too, anytime I think about the future Pokemon like Iron Valiant, Iron Jugulus, Iron Thorns, all those, my brain just thinks they're Steel type. I know they're not, but they're all Iron. So I think they're Metal. Anyways, we got all the Druck. At this point, the writing's on the wall for us in my mind. I have a couple of different options here that I could go for. My calc said a Dragon Claw KO'd this, definitely. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, I really need to outspeed this thing, so I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance, which is a big misclick on my part. I should have just went for the damage. I should have just went for the hit. Fires off Dire Claw and gets the paralysis. And I'm paralyzed. The hacks came back. Hey, it's the way the Pokemon goes. It's the way the Pokemon goes. So, gets off Dire Claw, KOs me, does the deed. We get 4-0'd again. Hopefully our week 3 goes a lot better. If you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you in week 3 against our new opponent. Peace.